Hello guys, thank you so much for joining me today on our YouTube channel. My name is Tari from Pepper Pickle. I am a baker who specializes in cakes, and I absolutely love decorating cakes. So the reason why I am doing this video is because a lot of people ask us on how we would have done a certain technique each and every time that we post our work on social media. So I figured, you know what, as much as I'm camera shy, maybe let me try and film some of my work so that I'm able to answer the how part. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please click on the subscription button below and also turn on notifications so that each and every time that we upload a new video, you are notified. So without wasting much of your time, let's get straight into it. I'm going to walk you through how I made this gold and black cake using Freshcream. This video is going to cover several techniques from stacking the cake to the end product. Some of the techniques that I'm going to highlight on are using edible images on Freshcream, how to apply your Freshcream to stack and assemble and apply your Freshcream on your cake, how to obtain brush texture on Freshcream cakes, and also our favorite, how to airbrush. I love to airbrush because it brings so much creativity into the cake. It is so much vibrance, it's so much color. So this one is a deep colored cake. It's black, a color that is hard to obtain if you don't have an airbrush. By the way, we sell airbrushes, and if you feel like an airbrush comes in handy for you, don't hesitate to contact us so that we can send it through to you. Without wasting much of your time, let's go to where it happens. Let's go, guys. I have put everything that I need for the first stage of decorating this cake on the counter. We will need 4 layers of cake to give it a reasonable height. That's red velvet and chocolate. A palette knife for applying our cream, a scraper for straight edges. For flavoring, we'll use cookies and cream. For our liquid, we'll use milk and a bit of some water. I've got my whipped cream in this cup, approximately 200 grams. I will mix it with half water and half milk. What's important is to note the ratio, which is 1:1. The liquid is at room temperature. I'm putting my whippet into the bowl. Then my liquid, which is a mixture of milk and water. 3 drops of my flavoring. It's strong, so 3 drops will do the job. A ball whisk attachment is the one that I'm going to use for whisking. My mixer is a Kenwood Major. It's critical that you use a good mixer with a big whisk. The mixer is everything, really. I hear some people complaining about too much air pockets. It's critical that you have a good brand. A mixer, for me, Kenwood is the best. Like I said, the mixer is everything. A good mixer will whip your cream perfectly to avoid air pockets or to reach a thick consistency. So I'm stopping a bit on 5 and increasing again to maximum. I'm gradually increasing to stop splattering and also to give my whippet time to dissolve. Now my mixer is on maximum because we are now working for the perfect thick consistency. I'm going to stop my mixer a bit so that I get a dollop of cream that I can use to secure my first layer of cake and continue whipping. I need to whip for about 5 minutes. I'm applying the cream for securing my cake. It's important that you secure the first cake so that your cake doesn't move around when you are now decorating. I'm still whipping. You need to whip for about 5 minutes, depending on the size of your whisk and on your mixer power as well. For some, you can go up to 8 minutes, but mine, 5 minutes will do the job. I'm checking for the consistency. I think I'm happy with the thickness. As you can see, it's now stiff and it's forming peaks. It's not runny anymore. I'm putting aside my ball whisk so that I can start staking the cake. I'm starting off with my first layer of chocolate cake, making sure that it's central to the board. When you stake your cakes, it's important that you place the top side down. I'm applying my cream. That's for in between the layers, leaving a bit of some space on the edge so that it doesn't squish out when I add my second layer of cake. I'm putting my second layer and applying cream again. Again, leaving a bit of some space at the edge. Onto my third layer of cake. My red velvet is a very rich cake, and red velvet is generally crumbly in nature. As you can see, some of it is coming off with the baking paper. So I'm putting another layer of cream. So when you move from one layer to the next, you need to press a little bit so that you secure all the cake layers up to the top. If you don't press them, your cake will be wobbling while you try to decorate it. So pressing is a way of securing it. I'm going to measure the height of my cake using this scraper right here. I don't want it to go beyond 19 because that's the height of an image that I'm going to place later on here. I'm making sure that my layers are nicely positioned, that they are straight on the top as well as on the sides. Using my palette knife, I'm going to apply my first coat of cream. If you are still learning, I'll recommend that you separate your cream into two halves so that you don't get crumbs into your main cream that you are going to use for the outer layer. I'm not going to separate, I'm just going to go straight through because I will not put crumbs into my final coat of cream. Separating your cream can help you to gauge how much cream you can use for your inner coat. This inner coat is called a crumb coat, but for fresh cream cakes, there is really no need to put your cake into the fridge after the first coat. So we will crumb coat before we move to the outer coat of cream. Take note, every time I go back into my bowl, I clean both sides of my palette knife. I'm just going back each and every time to get some cream so that I can fill the portions that have less cream. I'm working my edges so that I don't have much of an overlap. I'm feeling that patch and removing the excess. A crumb coat doesn't have to be all neat, because remember, you have to apply another layer, an outer layer. So I'm happy. For my outer layer, I'll use a shade of gray. So I'm using black to tint my cream into a gray. The reason why I'm using gray, I mentioned earlier that this cake is gonna be black, and I'm going to airbrush it black later on. So to airbrush, you need a base color that is close to the color that you want to airbrush to. This is why I'm coloring my cream into a gray. The reason why we airbrush is so that we don't alter the taste of our cream. If we try to color this cream into black, we'll probably use the whole bottle of food color trying to get a shade of black. So that's why I'm going to use airbrushing, because using a whole bottle of black will make your cream very bitter. And also, as people are having your cake, if you color the whole cream, it will color their teeth and be messy really when someone is eating. So I will airbrush. I'm now applying my last coat. So I'm filling all the patches where there is not enough cream and going around with my palette knife. I'm applying my cream to the top. Take note of how I'm holding my palette knife. When I'm doing the sides, I have to hold it straight, vertical. Don't incline your palette knife, otherwise you end up with a tilting cake. I'm filling the patches and redoing the top again. I'm working the sides with my palette knife so that I get a smooth side and removing the excess. Take note, each and every time I have cream on my palette knife, I clean it off using the edge of my bowl. Using my scraper, I'm going to go around my cake just to see if my cake is straight and also to remove some excess cream. I'm going around my cake. So I prefer to use this short turntable and not the tall fast ones, because I have more control with this height. If I use the taller turning table, then that means I have less control. So I'm cleaning my palette knife so that I can work the edges. As you work the edges, you don't want to do it with a palette knife that has cream on it. Using a brush, I'm going to texture the top and give my cake a bit of some brush marks. I'm happy with the straight sides and the textured top of my cake. The next thing is to move on to attaching an edible image. So the client wants a black and gold cake. So we picked this picture with a gold rose on it. so that we stick with the color tones that the client wants. This is white wooden spoon margarine that I'm going to use to apply at the back of my picture. You want to work your margarine so that it's easy to apply on your picture. I used wafer paper to print this picture. I'm applying the margarine using a small knife. You want to apply a thick, generous layer so that when you stick your picture onto your cake, it doesn't get wet and start to wrinkle up. Remember, fresh cream is a water-based cream, so pictures are sensitive to water. This is why we are applying this thick layer of margarine, so that our picture does not get wet. If you skip this stage, you get wrinkles on your picture. Now that I'm happy with the layer of margarine that I just applied, I'm going to transfer the picture onto the cake. My picture is slightly longer than my cake, so I'm trimming off the excess using a kitchen scissors and trying again if I have a good height for the cake. Looks perfect. I'm sticking the picture onto the cake, cleaning off the margarine from the knife that I was using, and using the back of the knife to secure the picture onto the cake. So that's how you attach your images on your fresh cream or buttercream cakes. I'm now going to put an outer layer of cream because I want the picture to look like it's inside the cake. My cream was beginning to set, so I'm going to just mix it again so that I kill the air pockets that form when your cream is now setting. I'm happy with the silkiness now. And I'm going to apply my last layer of cream using a palette knife. I'm just checking if I don't have too many air pockets in the cream and working it using my palette knife so that I kill any air pockets. I'm killing any air pockets that could be in the cream using my palette knife and applying the last coat onto the cake. Now that I'm happy with the amount of cream that's on my cake, I'm scraping off excess using the palette knife and filling the patches that have less cream. So always clean your palette knife each and every time before you go onto your cake. That gives you more control filling the edges with a bit of some cream, you determine the shape really that you want for this type of design. So I'm continuing to fill in the patches that have less cream with some more cream. And scraping off any excess cream using my palette knife. Cleaning it off with the back of my bowl. And lastly, I'm going to use a scraper for an even finish. So we are not going to smoothen this cake, so there's really no need to worry about those slight patches that have less cream on them. But if we were going to be smoothening, then it means that you are supposed to fill all the depressions with cream. I'm happy with the finish. The next stage now is to texture the cake using this brush. I'm cleaning off the cream that was on my brush. I'm going around the cake to ensure that I have nice brush marks around the outer coat of my cream, trying by all means to avoid smudging my picture with cream that's on the brush. Going around the cake again, flipping the brush and going around the cake again until I get it done. There's an air bubble that I need to fix using a little cream, and then I have to go onto the cake again using the brush. As you can see, it's now closed up. The next step is to clean the board. Using a clean cloth, just clean your board all the way around. I'm happy with the brush marks on my cake. So that's basically how you texture your cake to get brush marks on it. The top, as you can see, has got brush marks as well. I like the rough edge of this cake, and I'm going to leave them like that. So from there, it's now time to airbrush. I have already diluted gold lustre and my already diluted black gel color using 40% clear alcohol. There is a tutorial that I did some time back on how to dilute colors. You can check the links in the description box below for the perfect consistency. I lined my counter using a big black plastic because airbrushing can be really messy. I didn't want to mess my kitchen counter. Into my color cup, I'm pouring my black food color. Take note of the correct thickness for airbrushing. Switching on my airbrush, and before I go onto my cake, before I start airbrushing, I will start by back flushing just to see if the food color is going to come out, and then airbrush my cake. So the trick with airbrushing is to airbrush onto a base color that's close to the color that you want to airbrush. In this case, the cake is a black cake, so this is why I used a shade of gray. I started off with medium pressure on my compressor. Now I'm using maximum pressure so that I quickly go around the cake and quickly finish airbrushing. The food color is now finished and I'm happy with my black, so I'm moving on to gold. At this point, I'm not cleaning my airbrush because black and gold don't really contaminate each other to produce another color. So I'm just going to go straight onto my cake. If you are using other colors, make sure you clean after each and every color, because sometimes you end up producing a different color from what you were expecting. So I'm airbrushing. I lowered the pressure on my compressor to very low because I don't want the gold to splash onto my black. So, and also for more precision, the pressure on the airbrush should be low so that you don't splash around, and also so that you are able to move closer to your cake without damaging your cream from too much pressure that's coming out of your airbrush. So I'm airbrushing the edges, which I was intentionally avoiding when I was airbrushing black because I knew I was going to airbrush them gold. I'm happy with how the gold and black are coming out. Now I'm going to add some toppers onto my cake. I've got a palm leaf that I previously made, a rose, a cake topper, a birthday message, and some spheres. I'm going to go ahead and place those onto the cake, starting off with the palm leaf. The cake topper isn't really working for me, so I'm thinking of trying number toppers. So the person is turning 18, so I'm gonna try placing a 1 and an 8 instead of a happy birthday topper, since I already have a happy birthday message on the board. I'm happy with the number toppers, better than the birthday cake topper. So don't be afraid to correct any mistakes if you feel like you need to make any corrections. So yeah, this is it. I feel like I just need to add a bit of some gold, maybe in the form of gold dredges. So I'm just going to add a couple of those right around. So this is it, guys. for now, I'm just going to go and take professional pictures for this cake for my Instagram. Thank you so much guys for watching this video tutorial. My next video is going to be on how to smoothen and how to do the watercolor effect on Freshcream cakes. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also to turn on notifications in the buttons below so that each and every time we upload a new video, you are notified. Until next time, thank you.